Hello, and welcome to Real Actors, Real Answers, the podcast where you are the star. I have the privilege of interviewing and privilege for you too to listen to Aisling Christina Ryan. She is an actress. She has an acting academy in Ireland. She lives currently in Indonesia. She is a powerhouse. She has so many things to offer, and she's wonderful. She's this light. So without further ado, hello, Aisling.
Hello, everybody. It's so nice to be here. Thanks for having me, David.
Thank you. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, yeah.
Just tell us, and then we'll start.
Okay, great. Yeah. So I'm Aisling. I'm from Ireland, as you can probably tell by my accent. I first fell in love with the arts and acting and dreaming when I was very, very young. I used to put on shows and direct my cousins and perform for my aunts and uncles and my parents. And then when I got into my teenage years, my music teacher kind of nudged me into a lead role in our musical, and that's when the real passion and love came to me. This is the point where I knew this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. But obviously, being an actor sometimes isn't what people want you to do. They think it's a difficult path, but I overcame that, and I studied contemporary and applied theatre studies in Ireland. I went to England and I studied the performing arts. And while I was in England, I auditioned in London for Stella Adler Acting Academy in New York, and I got a place there. So I studied there. And from that, I came back, finished my degree, and then out of COVID, obviously COVID kind of stopped us all for a few minutes, didn't it? But after that, I opened up Class Act Acting Academy, my first business, which is an academy for ages 6 to 86 to study and perform and devise and learn the arts.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. What was
Thank you.
your very first time on stage or in front of a camera, and how did you feel?
Ooh, that's a really good question. My first time on a stage, which is actually very funny. I haven't shared this with anybody. I think my mom is the only one that I've talked with this about recently. Actually, I was 4, and I got stage fright, and I ran off. That was my first experience ever of being on stage. But my second one is a bit more successful. That was when I was a lead in Guys and Dolls. I played Adelaide, and to be honest, in school, um, I was kind of known as a bit of a messer, doesn't really pay attention, here for a good time to hang out with her friends. I wouldn't have been very academic, but when I done the show, my teachers' attitudes, everybody seemed to have a different type of respect for me then, which was amazing. And that's also what kind of, I don't know, gave me a hint to why, and I loved it.
That's beautiful. I have to go back
Mm.
though. One of my all-time favorite, I've seen it on stage and of course the movie, Guys and
Hmm.
Dolls. You played Adelaide.
Yes, I did.
How difficult or challenging was that? Because the original actress in the movie was brilliant
Mm.
as a person, as a human being. But she played this daft woman that was so sincere,
Oh
but
yeah.
she wasn't really all there.
Oh,
um,
absolutely.
how did
Yeah.
how did you approach that character? That's a difficult one.
How did I approach that character? And a lot of people said it as well because, after the performance, I was only 16, so a lot of people were like, "Wait, how did you learn how to do an American accent?"
Right.
Like that. And I remember my music teacher showed us a few clips from the show, and this was kind of before any of us even auditioned, and I kind of soaked her character up like a sponge. Like I loved how playful she was. Like, hello, Nathan Tia. It was kind of like really fun, really girly, amazing. So how I kind of approached it, I was 16 though, and there was nerves. I definitely had that feeling of I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. But something would happen me when I'd step on stage and go out there. It was like something else went off. It was like I was now, you know, Adelaide.
So Adelaide was you, and you were Adelaide. Now that takes a lot of preparation, though. How long of rehearsal did you have for that show?
It was a school show. It was school production, but it was on in a professional auditorium. So we started rehearsing November, and the show was on in January. I think it was like 8 to 6 weeks, where we'd go up a few hours after school. We were all in transition year, so we'd have a few hours, and the teachers, the music teacher in charge, would work with us individually as well. So Nathan Detroit and I would have like 2 hours blocks where we'd work on our scenes. It was great fun, actually. We had a few giggles. But yeah, in preparation for it, at that point, I didn't know any actor skills, or like I hadn't learned the techniques and I hadn't formed my toolbox. Um, so at the time, it was really just absorbing the character and becoming the character and having fun with the character.
That was that's a principal role. Now, you also studied, which I got very excited about when you said about Stella Adler. Stella
Mm,
Adler is one of my all-time greats to study from. Now, you were in New York.
yes.
New York is my heartbeat. So how did you like Stella Adler's teaching technique? Was it difficult? Was it challenging? Was it exciting? What was it to you?
Exciting, exciting, exciting. Like, that was just like a summer to remember. Absolutely. I loved everything about it. She was very disciplined. Stella Adler was very disciplined. You wore black when you attended her class. If you were late more than once, you didn't come back. If you didn't miss a class unless it was an emergency, and that was introduced to us when we went in. And for me, it just raised the standard for acting. It gave me a new appreciation for the art form itself, and I fell in love with it in a deeper way than I had before. Everything was exciting. Every area we explored was exciting. The teachers were top notch. But the most valuable thing I took away from that whole experience is to be a good person. As cliche as it sounds, like to be a good person, if you're an actor and if you're a good person, that's the best place you can start from, because empathy allows you to explore all these characters in the deepest level. If
Very
you're
true.
going in, yeah, yeah. And I learned a lot about what not to do as well. Like, like I've been in rooms with egos as well, and you don't last long in the industry with an ego. So, if you ground yourself and you appreciate being on stage and being around a fellow artist, like that's when the magic happens and you enjoy the progress. It's not about the fame. And I think that was an illusion that like popped for me at a very young age. It was like, it's actually about the play, the creation, and the helping people understand their emotions, essentially.
Acting should be a way of life, is what you're saying, right?
Absolutely. It's in our day to day. Like we all perform, like you go into the shop, you're not going to speak to the shopkeeper the same way you speak to your sister or your brother or your mother. So like performance is a part of our day to day.
And it's also staying in the moment, um, which is not always easy in this whirlwind of a world that we live in. I love what you
Absolutely.
said too. It's not about ego, because that can creep up sort of like a balloon being filled with helium, and pretty
Mm.
soon it's way up there, but where are you? You sort of lose yourself. Now, when did you decide you wanted to couple? Because I do exactly the same thing. When did you decide that you wanted to couple your acting career with life coaching, with coaching?
With coaching. Okay, yes, absolutely. So this is my newest business. This is my second business. And this is actually very, very new. It's new. It's new. This only came about since April 2023 was when I decided that this was my next move. And it came from actually being surrounded by entrepreneurs. I have a lot of entrepreneurs that are friends that are entrepreneurs, I should say. And what I realized is that their confidence was lacking, and that performance can give you that confidence. Performance is a skill you can learn. And if you want your business to leverage, like for me, like with Class Act and with Courageous Coaching Academy, I they're not like small projects I'm working on for a year. They're businesses I want to outlive me, essentially, you know? So you have to be smart when you're projecting like what's next, how do you grow, how do you scale. And what I realized was, from having a knowledge in business and from having a knowledge in performance, was that they absolutely coincide and they complement each other. And if you have a business, you need to be able to engage with your clients, because essentially your clients buy you, they don't buy the product, you know, they're buying the person behind the product and their experience and their knowledge of the industry, you know. And what I find is, especially for coaching, you know, and for business coaching and for life coaching and for confidence coaching, motivational coaching, eventually that leads to a stage. So I was thinking this, and I seen a gap in the market, and I love business and I love the arts, and I was like, if you merge the two, you know, there's a successful long-term business strategy and plan and blueprint, you know. So what I do now with Courageous Coaching Academy is I either meet entrepreneurs where they're at and we go from there, or I bring in new entrepreneurs, teach them how to set up a business, teach them how to overcome imposter syndrome, because mindset, business is 80% psychology, 20% strategy. And we then work on marketing, and then to finish off, then I've given a module on performance, professional performance, so they know and have the confidence to interact with their audience.
That's a beautiful mission statement that you said.
Thank you.
Wow. It's show business. It's 2 words, show business. You have to have something to show. Okay. And the like Tony Robbins and Dean Graciosi says, I don't know if you've heard of them before.
Oh, I studied with them, yeah.
Oh, so do I. And so have I.
Yes, love it. Love it.
The more you narrow your niche or niche, however you want to say it, the more success you have. I want to help everybody. Well, actually, that's impossible. And I've learned that on a personal basis. You might be able to guide them, but how many hours, this is so silly, but you know, some people don't know. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You sound like a very disciplined person. You have to be with Stella Adler. So what, how many hours per week, per day, however you break it down, do you commit yourself to studying, researching, and developing yourself and your business?
Absolutely. And it has changed. It has changed over the, like, even the last month, like since I started, like, well, like when I started with this idea, like I dove into it, and there was times like, you know, that my mom was even like, Ashling, when's the last time now you done something fun? Like, I was getting those questions from family and friends, like, because I was like, no, you don't understand though, this is going to be amazing, it's going to help so many people. And they were like, that's amazing, but you need to look after yourself. So April, I think I really, like, I gave all the time in my day to it. Like, I was eating and I was giving all my time to it. But what I met then was burnout, massive burnout, where I actually ended up having to like do nothing for like 3 to 4 days. But that was a massive wake up call for me to be like, okay, you know, self-care is essential, you know. And but it was a beautiful lesson. It was a beautiful lesson that came through working too hard. You can work too hard. That does exist. So from that, then I prioritized my self-care, and I took off a day of my week. Like, I took another day off, and now I've like designated days off. So during the day, what I like to do now is wake up earlier and take about 3 to 4 hours a day now, to work on it. And now I have clients, so the workload is actually getting less for me, because on my spare time I'm building a platform, and I'm building all the information I have to put it somewhere, you know. And then it's my direct coaching calls, whereas at the start I had to, you know, figure out what my niche was, figure out what exactly I want to teach. But now I know all that, so I can take more time off. So Right now, what I'm practicing is Monday to Thursday, 4 hours a day. And then in the evening, connecting with people such as yourself, like going on podcasts, making room for that, making room for other creative projects. I also have my business in Ireland, so I make time for that as well through my day, but it's in a really flow state more than, okay, this is head down.
Very true. One thing I saw on, I'll send it to you later, is a fascinating 3-minute, 9-second video. It's with Oprah, and she has a friend. She has a guest, and I'm going to consolidate. I can't do it justice, but here it is. You see this cup? There you go. All right. So you have to fill your cup each day, because if you don't fill your cup, no one gets the overflow, and you can't survive. Basically, that's the gist of the message, and it really made a profound effect, a profound change in what you're saying. Yes, you love what you do. Yes, you are studying, and you're changing lives and helping and seeing growth. However, you can feel it. There's this, your tank is getting low,
Yeah,
and it's like you can't give out of an empty cup, is what I'm saying. You have to
you
take care.
can't.
Self-care is, yeah.
Absolutely. And I love that. I love that, like the overflow. And that's definitely something I'm trying to practice. Like recently, I figured out that, like, like I'm in Bali right now. So I'm like, I want to spend as much time outside as I can. I don't want to be inside, like work, work, work. And only when I have my clients or when I'm building. So what I introduced was like waking up for sunrise. And I'd recommend it wherever you are in the world, because when you're up for sunrise comes up just past 6. Um, it's stunning, and it's slow and it's quiet, and it's so peaceful, and it's an amazing way to start your day. And practicing gratitude with the sunrise is like, just morning my cup was so filled, I was so ready for my day ahead. But like you said as well, that people can feel the overflow, so your main priority has to be yourself. And like, it has to be also giving yourself a little bit of grace. Like, what I realized was, I had this like urgency in April, because when I get excited about a project, I give it everything, and I had this urgency that I want to help people now. But I realized that it's one step at a time, it's one step at a time. And like, divine time, and the people will come, and the right people will come when they need to come.
Exactly. God wants you to rest, and rest is
Absolutely.
important more than just sleep, which is essential. Um, it's like you said, what a beautiful way to start a morning. I'm a morning person too. Okay. So the greatest thing that I could ever do, in my opinion, of course, now you have me thinking about Indonesia, is uh, being on a beach and watching the sunrise, and just listening to the waves and listening to your heart and listening to God. And that's actually what gives you your energy for the day, right?
Absolutely. Like after it, I had somebody connect with me that was like, "Oh, do you have like time today?" I had time when I came back. I was like, "Okay," and she ended up, becoming my client today, like this morning. And I honestly, a part of me was like, "That was the power of the sunrise." Like, I was thinking that. So it does set you up right, and it sets you up in a state of gratitude, which just has a knock-on effect throughout your day. And when you allow yourself, to slow down, that's when you truly find your power. Because, after all, we're on this journey to enjoy this journey, you know, and also, like, it's a gift to be creative. So I don't want to put myself in a pressured situation where, like, I'm self-employed, and I have been self-employed for 2 years. I became self-employed because I wanted to be treated and appreciated like the way I felt I should, you know and
Nice.
you need to allow, like, yourself that grace period, I suppose, and deserve the slow time.
I like that. And we have so much in common. You talk about slowing down. I tell my students, slow down, because actually the slower you go, the more progress you make. And in this,
Mm.
again, whirlwind of a world we live in, um, they speed you up. They subconsciously image you and send you things to speed you up and give you that subconscious message. if you don't do this, you're not enough. If you don't buy this, you're not enough. But you know, you got to be popular, you got to be this and that and the other thing, and magazines everywhere, and it falsifies who you are as a human being. But if you slow down, I've made many videos on this. You start to appreciate yourself. You start, which I recommend, a gratitude journal. You know, literally write down things. Okay, you start to see the world and see yourself and see everybody differently, and that's what I see in your face. You have this bright, shiny face, glow of life. You know, it's because of what you study and how you help other people, and you put yourself out there. You don't believe in a comfort zone, do you?
I believe you move out of your comfort zone is what I'll say, and I'll give you an example of that as well. I really value gratitude, and I created gratitude journals. They're I only done this recently as well. They're on Amazon. If you type in Ashling Ryan, you'll find my gratitude journals, because it's so important. But when that idea, so like it came to me like a vision, I was like, more people should practice gratitude, because I found a great power in gratitude, and I was like, how would I do that? And this was actually before Courageous Coaching Academy came into it. And I was like, oh, a journal would be perfect. That would be amazing. But what I found is that was outside my comfort zone. I had to go in, I had to learn a whole new skill set. And I'm not going to lie to you, it took me 3 Sundays. The measuring, the trimming, and, watching video after video with endless like tunnels of, oh, this is how not to do it. And I don't know. But eventually I got that email and it said, your journal has been published. And you know what? It came at the right time. I had money taken from my suitcase on my travels at one point in my travels, and the day it happened, I got so upset, and I ended up outside a mosque, and I cried, and I was like, you need to leave me know, like, am I on the right path? I don't know, because when you're an artist, you think, oh, I'm going to be acting and performing all the time, whereas I've kind of been swerving around, and then I was moving into a business zone, and I was so sad, and but then I came back to my room, and I got that email. Your gratitude journal has been published, and then I realized that there's more important things, than money, and that I was grateful to be able to create something, and I got my sign. I got my sign that you are on the right track. Chin chin.
Creation is different than achievement, and time can't be replaced, but money can. You're living a rich life. You're living a wealthy life, it sounds to me. Wealth is not money. Money is a tool. It's like a hammer and saw, that's to build things. I have to ask you now, because I'm going to order that gratitude journal today. I really am.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. This is
Thank you.
How can people contact you? Tell us, please, your Courageous Coaching, your academy. Please fill us in.
Yes. So, my Facebook page is Ashling Christina Ryan, and that's the base for Courageous Coaching Academy. On that page, you will also find a link in my bio to Class Acting Academy. That's how you get over there. I'm also on TikTok, Ashling Christina. That's where I put up videos of my travels, and I put up some music. I'm in the process of starting a YouTube channel, because I write my own music as well, and I'm going to start putting that out there. I'm ready to start sharing that with the world too. I am on Instagram, Ashling Christina, and that's just a gist of me and my day to day. Like sometimes, I pop up where I am, what I'm doing, and stay connected with friends and family there. That's more my personal kind of space. Class Act Acting is also on Instagram. You can find us there. And I am also launching a podcast next week, which will be called Ashy Talks, and you will be able to find that on Spotify.
That is wonderful. That is so exciting.
I know, I'm so buzzing, is it? I'm excited. And what I'd say to anybody that wants to get into acting or wants to get into business is make it about the creative process. Because without the creative process, the other things you're looking for, they're not going to fulfill you. Make it about the connections, you know, make it about the process, the creativity. Definitely. That was
Absolutely.
a game changer. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. It has been a privilege and an honor and just a lot of fun. I'm going to be following you very closely. I have a
Oh.
question too. In the process, or are you thinking about writing a book of any type?
Yes, yes, I am, and I am in the process of writing a book. I love that you asked me that. It's something I'm taking slowly, because I want to put in all the golden nuggets. But I have a few different. There's kind of like three different versions of things going on. So one is going to be about being courageous, living courageously, and I devised a script with some kids in the acting academy last around last Christmas, and we came up with this script that was lost at the North Pole. So I also will be developing that into a book, and hopefully, fingers crossed, all going well, that will be published before Christmas. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Are you, do you self-publish or?
I self-published, like the journals are self-published. I like they're my starting point. But they definitely gave me a taste of where to go from there. So like everything I kind of do, I've been kind of coming from a self place, but what I find is a self-publishing place. But what I find is you meet amazing people along the way, like me meeting you. You know, you're providing a space for me as well. You know, so it will initially start as self published unless somebody comes along and says, have a good offer.
And that happens. That does happen. Your business, our business, is to create, not to
Absolutely.
achieve. And that
Yeah.
flies in the face of the ego. Like, again, Stella Adler wearing all black, which is fascinating to me.
Love it.
And
Yeah.
and being on time, and if you miss more than once, you're out. I mean,
Oh,
this is the army, that kind of thing.
that was
But
massive for me though. I was always late, but that showed me how much I loved it because I wasn't late for one class. I didn't miss one class. Mm.
there's so much discipline is freedom because it allows you to do exactly what you want to do, but you
Mm.
have to learn to discover what you want to do. And you have done this and you are doing it. Because, like you said,
Amazing.
life is a journey, it's not a destination, it's a step by step process, you know?
Yes, absolutely. And if you can be anything, be kind. You know,
Very true.
that's a
Yeah.
massive one.
Thank you so much for being on Real Actors, Real Answers. It's been a privilege, honor, and a lot of fun. You've taught me a lot. I'm going to be
You've
following you
taught me a
very
lot too.
closely. All right.
Ah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.